What's up everybody, Brian Tong here, and the rumored iPhone 17 Air. This is a bigger deal than you think right now because whether you are interested in it or not, this is Apple's first entry into a new era of design for the iPhone since really, let's say, the iPhone 12, and its significance will go even beyond just the regular iPhone. So we know a whole lot more with the latest rumors and reports, and you've all seen the renders, right? There's really no major surprises anymore with rumors claiming it will be 5.5 millimeters thin, which is the thinnest iPhone we have ever seen, with the iPhone 6 being the current thinnest iPhone at 6.9 millimeters. Now we know that this iPhone will be part of the iPhone 17 lineup and take the position where the Plus model used to be, but instead it's an entirely different phone. The rumors have dubbed the iPhone 17 the Air, which will be ultra thin and ultra light, with the 17 below it, and then you got the 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max above it. And goodness, that camera bar or rectangle on the Pros does not look good based on any of the renders, and although it appears to be true, while the Air and the Pros, they also take a page from Google's Pixel lineup, but yeah, not as good. Now, Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, who has been reporting the majority of details here, says the 17 Air is expected to start around $899, which would be the same price as the 16 Plus, and that makes sense since it would be taking its place in the lineup. But here's the biggest what if, and what we're talking about when we talk about design. Gurman reports that Apple considered launching the iPhone 17 Air without a USB-C charging port. Now, Apple decided against making it that way. It now foreshadows a move to maybe slimmer models without charging ports. And Gurman adds that the 17 Air internally at Apple represents the beginning of a sea of change for Apple. And if this new iPhone and its new design is successful, Apple executives will lean into a slimmer approach with the attempt to make a port-free iPhone. Now, we know for years, right, it was Johnny Ives' goal to make an entirely portless iPhone, or a phone that was like a slate of glass in your hand. But guess who might have been the biggest obstacle blocking this significant change? Well, by eliminating the USB-C port, Apple internally faced concerns about getting in trouble with regulators in the European Union. According to reports, remember, it's this same group that we did at one time celebrate for forcing Apple into joining the USB-C era. Could it now be its biggest roadblock for a radical iPhone design change in the future? Well, now we know, right, that wireless charging isn't everywhere yet, but there are more and more accessories for your car. You got portable MagSafe wireless battery packs and wireless charging stands for the home. There's plenty out there. 25 watt MagSafe wireless charging, that's pretty freaking fast and almost on par with a 30 watt wall charger. And the battery life on our phones are now so good these days, we typically don't need a physical USB-C charge to save us. Now, we've seen our phones get to a point where they have felt like they've generally plateaued for years, and sure, there's software and AI is the big push right now from everyone, but we know how the Apple Intelligence delays are embarrassing for Apple internally. It's a letdown for consumers who were led to believe that they'd be here sooner rather than later. And for me, Google's Gemini, this is the only one that is good enough with polished and actually unique consumer-friendly features, but people still aren't using it enough. So maybe we have come back around where even if these phones are already good enough, software is developing, it's taking time. Really, these phones are more than good enough. They are incredible, but there can be more innovation when it comes to design. We know Samsung, they already teased their own Galaxy S25 Edge Slim phone. They did that publicly, and rumors have already spilled the beans on this iPhone 17 Air. But the last time that I think that I really got excited maybe about an iPhone probably was the iPhone 10. Now, they still had the standard designed 8 and 8 Plus, but there was no Pro model at the time. But the iPhone 10, that felt like the concept car of iPhones. It was sleeker, it was shinier, it had a sexier design, it had the all-new Face ID tech for the first time, but it also didn't go all in by making the leap to USB-C at that time. And I think that if Apple wants to generate some real, genuine excitement around the iPhone, it's time to release a new concept car of iPhones, just go all in, because they've already split their lineup between general users and people who want more, let's call them pro features with a triple lens camera. So why not give us that next iPhone 10-like phone, but this time really go all in, right? Appeal to the diehard tech fans, to those Apple futurists, fanboys, fangirls who want to be excited again, and let that energy flow down to the consumer. That's how it used to be. And it may not be the iPhone 17 Air that does it because it's not willing to go all in here, but it is that first step towards that. You know, one of the biggest issues tech companies have been playing is they've been playing it safer, and they've been taking steps instead of leaps. And you can't always make big leaps, but I think this could have been a moment for Apple to take a leap, right? Apple has the marketing muscle. They got the fan base that would support a super thin, ultra light, high-end designed iPhone, even at a higher price. Give it a front-facing Face ID camera under the display and wireless charging only. If it took courage to get rid of the headphone jack, then I think it will take even bigger cojones to make, let's just call it, the iPhone future for fun. And I can already hear some of you yelling, but Brian, what about battery life? Well, Gurman has already reported that Apple has made hardware and software optimizations to make the iPhone 17 Air more power efficient. So features like a higher density battery, Apple's more power efficient C1 modem in this phone, you get the lack of an ultra wide camera that allows also for more internal battery space, and then the battery life of the Air is expected to be on par with current iPhones, so problem solved. Now Apple, they already have every consumer covered within the iPhone family, the general user, the user that wants higher end features, and if they want to bring some juice and excitement to the iPhone lineup, I'm asking for them to make an iPhone, an aspirational iPhone that they could truly do today. Look, they put out the Vision Pro. This is a great example. $3,500, and by no means has it been a consumer success at that price, but the tech is undeniable, and it will still be very good for a while with immersive content. It's still incredible. That's, to me, is arguably a aspirational product at the time it was being developed and made. So Apple, you can make the iPhone aspirational again. All you got to do is just do it. That's all I'm saying. Because when I'm hearing about what they are doing with the 17 Air and what they decided not to do with it, but could in the future. Okay, so let's go over the specs that we know about the iPhone 17 Air that have been rumored. It will reportedly have a larger 6.6-inch OLED display with 120 Hz ProMotion support. You got a dynamic island, a standard A19 chip instead of a Pro chip, which is absolutely fine for this machine. A single 48 megapixel rear camera, a new front-facing 24 megapixel camera, and then a new Apple C1 modem, right, more power efficient, and no physical SIM card slot. This rumored iPhone 17 Air is expected to launch this September, like we've heard for months and months. Now, Gurman also reported that Apple had actually prototyped an even larger ultra slim iPhone 17 Air with a 6.9-inch display to match the Pro Max. But they also decided against it because of concerns that it would be susceptible to bending. And you know, people would be trying to bend the phones and make their YouTube videos about bending them by sitting on their phones in their back pocket or bending them in their bare hands with force that you would never, ever do in daily life, ever. So I'm just wondering who's going to make that first video, huh? Like, the iPhone 17 Air bends because we know someone will not be able to control themselves and just have to do it. Because let's flash back, right? Remember how big of a deal Bendgate was. It was absolutely huge during those peak YouTube days. And during that entire time, I didn't have a single friend tell me that they actually had bent their iPhone accidentally. I know it happened, but hey, the internet was telling me it did. So wait, we can't always believe everything we see on the internet? So maybe we just really can't always have nice things. Now, leaked iPhone 17 dummy designs from Sonny Dixon show that it will also have an action button on the side above the volume controls, and there are markings for the entire iPhone family, the entire 17 family, to have MagSafe. Now, we haven't heard enough substantial reports if MagSafe is actually coming to the 17 Air yet. It would be interesting because those components do take up more space. We'll see. Also, purported leaked iPhone 17 Air cases from Dixon also show that there's a camera control button cut out on the lower left side of the case after a recent report also claimed that it was coming. Now, I think camera control needs to get even better responsiveness with its haptics, which seem like it would also take, that component takes up more space. And you know, talking to people who have it, I don't know about you all. I'd like to hear from you, but we just aren't using it. I'm not using it enough. I just go to my screen 99.999% of the time. Actually, I think I've stopped using it. And I just like to see Apple let us assign it for another action as well. Make it a camera control action button number 2. So now let's all connect the dots here because there's obviously a whole lot to talk about with the iPhone 17 Air, right? If we are now looking beyond just the iPhone, we know that Apple has been rumored to be working on a foldable phone and a potential foldable iPad or a Mac for a while now. Now, Apple is also reportedly taking advantage of the learnings from the display, the battery, the modem, and the chip advancements from the development of the iPhone 17 Air and directly incorporating that into their new foldable iPhone. Analyst Jeff Pu reports that Apple's first foldable recently entered the new product introduction phase at Foxconn, with mass production set to begin in the second half of 2026, which means that Apple could announce it by the end of 2026 or early 2027, depending on who and what you believe. It won't be cheap, right? A recent Barclays Bank investor research note believes that the first foldable iPhone could have a starting price somewhere around $2,300 in the United States, and that would make it their most expensive iPhone ever. And that price sounds about right because, yeah, it makes me apprehensive. But how many people are really going to throw down for it, for a foldable from Apple at that price? It's actually probably more than we think. And I did earlier just ask for Apple to give us the concept car of iPhones earlier in this video, but I wasn't thinking foldables. So maybe I'm getting what I asked for now at a price that makes me say, damn, okay. But really, the implications for the new iPhone 17 Air, they go well beyond the 17 Air, and it is truly Apple's first step into its new design era for the iPhone and beyond. And on top of that, we've got the iPhone 17 Air, right? It will also come with an entire revamp of iOS 19, with this reported look and feel to be more like the transparency and frosted glass look of visionOS, with new buttons and windows, a whole different style. We saw what it might look like from John Prosser's renderings of the new camera app in iOS 19, and people with visionOS know exactly what that looks like. It is being touted as part of the biggest iOS and macOS redesign in history. Now, this does also line up a few things that could come together really nicely in 2025. So I'm definitely not sleeping on the iPhone 17 Air or iOS 19's new redesign when they come together. It actually might be one of the more exciting iPhone releases in a while. And I know, and I've said this before, look, I know that I'm going to absolutely love the new 17 Air design, but then when I use it, I'm going to miss the versatility of the triple lens camera system. As a creator, which I use on my Pro because I use it all the time, but not everyone does. So we'll see how it all comes together later this year. I would just say, just don't dismiss the iPhone 17 Air, even with the Apple Intelligence delay, because how many people are actually actively using those features? This is more of a letdown. Even if the iPhone 17 Air is not the phone for you, don't dismiss it, because it represents the new era of iPhone design, and it's going to be an important one, and it's going to be more than just the iPhone 17 Air. All right, that is going to do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast with the latest stories and special guests. Plus, you can support all my content with an ad-free version of the podcast, early access to my content, and exclusive content at patreon.com/Brian Tong. So thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace and love.